One thing that I never gave much thought to when I first started my health journey, so to speak, was how the products that I was using on my skin and in my home were potentially affecting my hormones and in turn my health. But before I go any further, please know that my intention is never to fearmonger. There is plenty of that happening on social media, and I do not subscribe to it. My goal is always to educate you, share reputable resources, always make sure you go to the show notes for links, and help you make better decisions when it comes to your health. So I hope this episode gives you some incentive to start making some swaps to the products that you use, and hopefully you'll share this information with other people that you love. So what are endocrine disruptors? Essentially, they're natural or man-made chemicals that can mimic or interfere with our hormones, in turn affecting our endocrine system. And unfortunately, these chemicals have been linked with many health issues. By now, I'm hoping you've binged a lot of my podcast episodes and understand the importance of hormones for many biological processes in the body. Our hormones need to be at optimal levels. We don't want them too high or too low. And when they're suboptimal or imbalanced, this can cause pretty significant effects on the endocrine system and, of course, our health. So let's dig into endocrine disrupting chemicals. And just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to refer to them here and there as EDCs. So according to the Endocrine Society, there are about 85,000 human-made chemicals in the world, and about 1,000 or more are considered endocrine disruptors. They've been linked to allergies, asthma, hormone imbalances, miscarriages, reduced fertility, neurological damage, and even certain types of cancers. And recent data suggests that exposure to certain EDCs, and there's about 15 of them that are being studied more closely, may actually accelerate reproductive aging and contribute to earlier onset of menopause. And in 2020, the Midlife Women's Health Study suggested that exposure to various chemicals, such as phthalates, found in hundreds of products that we use daily, was associated with sleep disruption in midlife women. So EDCs are found in many products that we use every day, such as cleaning supplies, makeup, nail polish, body wash, lotion, deodorant, and other personal care products, as well as food packaging, toys, carpets, pesticides, herbicides, and chemicals in furniture to make it flame or stain resistant. Many of these EDCs are also known as xenoestrogens because they act similarly to estrogen in the body. While estrogen itself isn't harmful, we love it and we need it. You know I'm a fan. Exogenous estrogen, which is not what we make naturally, can be problematic. And we have these things called hormone receptors all over our body. A lot of people refer to them as like little satellite dishes, okay? And one of my favorite hormone experts to learn from is Dr. Lindsay Berkson. She refers to these receptors as being promiscuous. From her book, Hormone Deception, she says, many different estrogenic compounds can unlock the receptor gateways in our bodies, just as if they were molecules of our own estrogens. The receptors don't seem to care. The bigger they are, the more the receptors invite a wide variety of hormone-like chemicals to come in. The only thing that matters to the receptor is the hormone signal. And it's not concerned about where that signal comes from, whether it's in the body, endogenous hormones, or environmental, exogenous sources, such as these xenoestrogens. So these xenoestrogens can affect your endocrine system in a number of ways, such as they can increase or decrease production of certain hormones. They can imitate hormones. They can convert hormones into other hormones. They can interfere with hormone signaling. They can compete with essential nutrients that our body needs. They can bind to essential hormones, and they can, unfortunately, accumulate in organs that produce hormones. And research has shown that endocrine disruptors can pose the greatest risk during prenatal and early postnatal development when organ and neural systems are forming. I know it sounds a bit scary and overwhelming, but I want to reassure you that you have more control than you think. Now, it's not realistic to completely avoid these chemicals, unfortunately, But when you know better, you do better. So it is important to reduce your exposure when possible. So one thing that we tell our clients is to start with the products that they use all the time. That could be body lotion, deodorant, makeup, shampoo, or even laundry detergent. Start to look at the ingredients in these products. Is it a long list of words that you don't recognize? Most people have never even considered reading labels on some of the personal care products or home products that they use regularly. If you don't want to Google every single ingredient to understand its safety profile, I totally get it. Not everybody has the time for that. So there are apps that will help you, which I'll share in a little bit. The other thing to think about is food storage and prep. Are you using plastic and aluminum foil? Consider swapping for glass containers and parchment paper, for example. Are you using non-stick cookware that has PFAS? I don't know how to say the word. It's very long, so I'm just going to leave it at that. PFAS. It's a class of chemicals that don't break down easily and can adversely impact human health and the environment, unfortunately. So consider using something like stainless steel or cast iron cookware instead. Do you use bleach or other traditional cleaning products that you can find in most grocery stores? They're likely harmful, so consider swapping to something like Branch Basics or make your own. You can find plenty of DIY home cleaning solutions on YouTube or Pinterest. You may also want to consider an air filter like Air Doctor. That's the one that I use and love. That filters many things in the environment like smoke, bacteria, viruses, pollen, mold, but also VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds like formaldehyde. So now I want to go through a list of some of the more studied EDCs so that you can start to familiarize yourself with them and try to avoid when possible. So the first one is parabens. These are often found in cosmetics. They're listed as a Category 1 priority substance by the European Commission on Endocrine Disruption because of evidence that they interfere with hormone function. Phthalates is the next one. Those are typically found in cosmetics and personal care products. They may be disruptive to the endocrine system, leading to developmental, reproductive, as well as neurological damage. Formaldehyde, I just mentioned earlier, that is used as a common preservative. It's carcinogenic, that is linked to fetal damage and can cause skin sensitivities or irritation. Then there's lead. There are other heavy metals as well, but lead can be found in paint, cosmetics, water, of course, and it's a proven neurotoxin. It's linked to miscarriages, reduced fertility, and delays the onset of puberty for females. PEGs are another. Those are typically found in cosmetics. It's a carcinogen, potentially harmful to the nervous system and human development. Then there's BHT or BHA. These again are typically found in cosmetics, food packaging, plastics, and even pharmaceuticals. They can induce skin allergies as well as reproductive toxicity. Fragrance is a big one. It's typically labeled as parfum or natural fragrance on packaging, mostly in personal care products or home cleaning supplies. That has been linked to health effects including cancer, reproductive toxicity, allergies, as well as sensitivities. Coal tar is another one that is a known carcinogen, present in the majority of hair dyes and mascaras. BPA is something else that is used to make plastics and resins. You've probably heard of it. There's a lot of BPA-free products out there. Unfortunately, a lot of those also have other plastics in there, but BPA is pretty harmful. It can be found in Tupperware, water bottles, and even in the lining of some canned foods and beverages. And then the last one I want to mention, and unfortunately there are more, but I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of a few of them, is oxybenzone. And that's often found in sunscreen that can cause skin reactions, DNA damage. It's potentially more harmful to children, and unfortunately can be toxic to coral reefs and other marine life. All right, so with all that said, I do want to give you a couple of action steps to take per usual. So again, start looking at the personal care products that you use and start swapping for safer brands. I don't expect you to throw everything out at once. Please don't do that. That could be really overwhelming. And it could get really costly, right? When you start to look at all the products that we use, I know I use a lot. As you run out of products, start replacing them, all right? There's a lot of great brands out there, so I'm not going to list a bunch here, but there is one brand that I really like that I've been using for years. I use their deodorant, their dry shampoo. I use some of their They have skin products, body oil, lotions. They even have candles and room sprays. That company is Primally Pure. I'll link to them in the show notes. But if you go to primallypure.com, you can use my code when you're checking out, Health Coach Claudia 10, and you'll save 10% on your purchase. And then in terms of safer makeup brands, I will give you a few. I'm not associated with any of these, but there's Ilia Beauty, Mineral Fusion, Vapor, RMS, Well People, and even Juice Beauty, just to name a few. But trust me, there's a lot of other really great brands out there, which is awesome. I'm so glad that more and more companies are making these changes and using safer ingredients. The other thing to consider is perfume. I know a lot of ladies love their perfume, but especially if you're putting it near your thyroid, that is not a good idea. Buy something safer. There's a good brand called Henry Rose that you may want to check out. The other thing is you want to look for an organic hair salon if you dye your hair a lot, if you're constantly at the salon getting treatments. Unfortunately, I don't have an organic salon near me. Maybe you dye your own hair. There's a brand that you can buy, to do it at home. It's called Madison Reed. And the other thing is just consider minimizing the frequency at the very least. I color my hair about once per year. I don't have any grays yet, I don't think, but when I do start to get them, that may change. I may consider doing my own at home or looking for an organic salon. All right, when it comes to your nails, right now mine are bare, but typically I have my nails polished. I really try to do my own, so DIY manicures are a good idea. Some brands to look into are Zoya, Mineral Fusion, and Ella and Mila. The other thing is your menstrual products. There's a lot of different ones out there, but remember, anything that you're putting near your lady bits, you want to be really careful about. So look for ones that are free from pesticides, dyes, bleach, or fragrance. A couple of brands to consider are Lola, Cora, Honey Pot, or you could even use period panties or like a menstrual cup. The other thing I want you to think about is investing in a water filter. This is something that is so important. I know a lot of people see all these like really sexy biohacking tools. So I've shared a lot of things like the vibration plate, my walking pad, red light therapy, and those things are all wonderful, but when it comes to your water, I cannot stress this enough, please try to invest in a really good filter. There's a lot of garbage in our water supply, unfortunately. I use a Berkey filter, and another brand to check out is AquaTrue. And then you also want to, again, look at labels, really start, I know it's time consuming, but if you're using a product like body lotion all the time, really just start to pay attention what is on that label. And you want to start looking for something called Certified B Corporation. And you'll see it's just like a circle with the black B in it. Essentially, these companies prioritize your health as well as the environment and our planet, which is amazing. And then you want to check out safecosmetics.org and download some apps like Healthy Living or Think Dirty to help you choose safer products when you're shopping. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next week. One of the biggest complaints I hear from women in perimenopause is that they can't sleep. I've talked about the importance of sleep, why we need to prioritize it, and ways to improve it in this stage of life. But besides all of that, comfy bedding is a must. I recently started using Cozy Earth sheets, and we, as in me, my partner Mike, and our dog Dawson, are loving them. We got the bamboo sheet set. They're super soft and light, so you sleep cooler. The fabric won't pill, it's sustainably sourced, and they give you a 10-year warranty. I am all about comfort in my perimenopausal years, and I try to get the best sleep possible. Since you're a listener of Perimenopause Simplified podcast, Cozy Earth has generously shared a 40% off exclusive coupon code. Head to cozyearth.com and enter Health Coach Claudia upon checkout. And if you get a post-purchase survey, say that you heard about Cozy Earth from this podcast, and they'll send you a free set of cozy socks too. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.